5 big business and cash flow predictions for 2026. I've been doing these business and cash flow predictions for about 15 years. Let's see if I'm right for 2026. I've done nearly 300 million in sales. I had at one point 12 companies, have almost 400 rental units, and I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. Just to tell you that my predictions probably have at least some backing of credibility. So I'm going to share the big new opportunities that I see for 2026 for creating income. Ideally, 10 grand a month minimum, maybe even leveraging your time 10, 15 hours a week. I'm going to predict what I think will be I'm going to predict what I believe will be the biggest growth industries and the best business models. Now, I'm going to define what I believe to be a best business model in a moment, but I will also share what I think dying and disrupted business models are. For example, social media as you know it is now dead, and something has replaced it. And actually, this is quite bad for bigger creators, and it's actually really good for newer creators. I'll share that a bit later on. So what's going to be hot and what's not for cash flow and starting and scaling in 2026? Some new and some existing opportunities and trends that you can leverage. What's going to be disrupted? What might crash in 2026? How to get a really fast start to the year. I used to do these predictions in January. Now I do them earlier so you can start the year with momentum. There's nothing worse than having some energy in the start of the year, wasting it because you're a few weeks behind, and then by February, March, it's just another year again. And I'm going to share with you what my 20 years of experience running the biggest property and business training company in the UK. I'm going to share some of that experience with you. Also, maybe what nearly 400 rental units in the last 20 years in my city. I think someone asked me if I'm the biggest investor in my city, and my ego would love to say yes. I think there's kind of 3 of us. My son said today, "Dad, are you the most famous person in Peterborough?" I actually couldn't think of anyone more famous. Is anyone else in Peterborough got more than 4.5 million social media followers? I don't know. Let's see. So I want to start with the businesses I think that are dying out, and I just think is ridiculous to start now. And the first is physical retail. So it costs between $150,000 and $750,000 to start your own restaurant. And that just says it all. And you'll have ongoing loans and payments and repayments and overheads. So to start a shop or a restaurant, you're going to need to go to the bank. You're going to need to get some premises. You might have, if you're going to rent them, it's going to be thousands. Business rates could be, depending on the building. I know someone who owns a gym, fairly small gym, pays £1,000 a month business rates. You've got all the stock, which is probably going to go down in value because you're probably not going to sell it all. You've got to hire staff. There's going to be wastage. They're probably going to nick some of the stock. And you're hundreds of thousands in. And a lot of people think, well, I'm passionate about cake decoration, so I'll start a cake decorating shop. And if you walk down any high street now, you'll see so many empty units. And actually, this is going to be one of my predictions for 2026, because I say this to my students in my training business a lot. Problem equals opportunity. And if you are able to take notes, if you can stop and take notes, I would write problem equals opportunity. So these empty shops and restaurants and retail in the center of town, this is the problem, because no one's really going to the town center like they used to anymore, because of out of town retail parks, and of course, because of online e-commerce and the internet, because of the soaring prices of rent and electricity in the UK. The business rates are ridiculously penal. So all of this has created a lot of empty space in the center of town, and that's created a huge opportunity. I think it's my 4th or my 5th business and cash flow prediction for 2026. I've got a couple of deals that my business partner and I have just completed on in the last few weeks. The deals are amazing because the problem equals the opportunity. But right now, I would not have a shop. I would not set up physical retail. By the way, I might own the property. Talk about that in a moment. I would definitely not have a restaurant. So food. The problem with food is, A, it's so competitive. Food prices have gone up so much. Of course, you're competing with these massive chains that it seems like they just lose billions hand over fist, a lot of them. They can afford to lose money for years before they make profit. And you as an entrepreneur, maybe you can't afford to do that. So I would not start in that kind of business. And this one might surprise a lot of people. I don't think it's dead, but I think it's hard in 2026, and that's e-commerce. So I think selling product and merch online is so much harder now. Back in 2016, we pioneered the launch of training people how to sell e-commerce on Amazon, when Amazon were pretty decentralized and they'd let you set up a shop. And you could even white label products whereby you didn't create them, you didn't ship them, you just put your own branding on them. And this made a lot of people quite rich in the mid 2010s. And then Amazon kind of created a bit of a monopoly over it and they pulled a lot of it in-house. And since then, there's so much competition now with e-commerce. And eBay have gotten much tighter with their rules. And selling secondhand stuff now, you can even be taxed on it. And these e-commerce sites have to submit all your information. So it's a lot harder to kind of make money. And it seems that everyone now is promoting some kind of like health or food supplement merch. So I personally wouldn't do that. I think there's a much easier way to sell online. I absolutely would sell online. Like we're meeting here online. I have 4.5 million followers on social media, and I would have met about 0.0001% of them face to face. And many of the huge guests I've had on my podcast, like Nigel Farage 3 times and Andrew Tate 3 times, I probably wouldn't have met them face to face in the real world. Met them online. So absolutely, selling online is vital. So give me a yes in the comments if you sell online. Give me a not yet in the comments if you don't yet sell online. And why not? It's 2026. It's not 1956. And you've got to get good at selling online. Okay, so I want to remind you that I'm going to cover that social media is dead and what's replaced it. I want to remind you that probably the last cash flow strategy I'm going to teach you is a huge problem in retail in the center of towns. And I'm going to give you some proof on some of the deals we've done. Okay, let's start with probably, like if you had a gun to my head, this would be in the top 3. And this is membership sites. So give me a yes if you're a member of my membership site, which is money.school. So money.school is my global online school to help as many people on this planet get better financial knowledge. There's hundreds of hours of courses, resources, and masterclasses to start and scale a business, to make, manage, and multiply money, to get your cash flow up, your income streams up, and your tax bill down. It teaches you all the new best business models and the proven business models to start with low to no experience, low to no setup or hard or ongoing costs. And the platform is on Kajabi and it costs less than 50p a day to join. You can cancel anytime. There's no ongoing contract. There's new content that we upload every Wednesday. We do Sunday session Zoom live masterclasses. I also do private Q&As, and money.school is the only place you can get private Q&As from me. We do the 6-week series. So pretty much every 6 weeks, we're doing a new series, whether it's the entrepreneur's mindset or leveraging AI or gold and silver investing, or how to invest, or property investing. Now, by the way, this is not a pitch. I won't even give you the link yet, just to prove it. But the great thing about a membership site is anyone can start it. You just need a niche. You need a platform. You need some content. You need an offer. And you need a mechanism of taking money. So just to make it really easy for you, because by the way, people say to me, oh, Rob, what about school? What about locals? What about Patreon? There's a lot of good membership site, essentially white label platforms out there. Definitely don't recommend that you build your own. People way overthink this though. And I think in my book, Start Now, Get Perfect Later, I talk about active procrastination. It's the most sinister kind. Because if you're going to chill, Netflix and chill, hardcore chill. But if you think about it, being busy doing fuck all, being busy avoid doing important tasks, that is the most sinister and nefarious of procrastination. So I know people who've been researching, which is school's the new one. We've got to be on school. Or Kajabi, is that the best one? Or have you heard about locals? Or are people still using Patreon? Do you know MemberPress? They have one based on WordPress. Just fucking start one, okay? I started mine on Facebook on the supporters program. Then it blew up, got thousands of members. But then Facebook kind of didn't really push it anymore. So that was a bit frustrating. But then I moved it over to MemberPress, which was based on WordPress, which is we use WordPress a lot for our content. And that was like the version 2. And now we're on Kajabi version 3. And in 2026, we'll launch the mobile app version on Kajabi. So that'll be version 3.5. And that's why I wrote my book, Start Now, Get Perfect Later, because you can't get to version 3.5 until you get to version 1. So if you want to make your life a lot easier, just copy what I do. After all, I've been doing this nearly 20 years. After all, I have lifetime now about 15,000 members on money.school. My goal is to have 200,000 members by 2030. So if you want to make your life really easy, the best thing to do is just copy what I do. Now, if you're not a member of money.school, you can join with no ongoing contract. You can cancel anytime. It costs less than 50p a day. I've spent more on Starbucks coffee in the last 24 hours than it costs to be a member for a month inside money.school. And your kids under the age of 18 can get free membership with your login in money.school. And I'm going to come to social media at the end because I think social media is dead and algorithm media has replaced it. And I'm going to talk about that. But there are still about 18 ways to monetize social media. And inside money.school, we've mapped out in a master document how to unlock and what criteria are required to monetize every social media platform, like literally step by step. You need this many hours of views. You need this many followers. This is how you unlock it. This is what the screen looks like. This is you press this or you apply here. And then once you're monetized, this is how best to monetize it. And we update that every 6 months inside money.school. But really, to launch your own membership site, to turn your passion into your profession, your content into cash flow, in a way that costs you literally a few pounds a month and less than £50 to start, I recommend you just copy money.school. Why reinvent the wheel? So if you want to copy it and get all the content from it, it's basically a money university, but it costs about 0.01% of what university costs. I'll just share you the link right now. You can just go and join if you want to do that. The link is money.school. So money.school. We've just put it in the comments if you want to click it. Go now, by the way, and do it because you'll forget. Life will get in the way. You'll intend to do it later. Then you won't. I'll give you a minute just to catch everyone up because the live numbers are still going up. So I'll do a quick bit of a recap while you're doing that. But you know, I remember in the early days of business copying the best marketers like Dan Kennedy. I was copying the best business experts like Brian Tracy, the best mindset experts like Tony Robbins. And, I learned to put my own flavor and spin and style on it. But really, the best way to get rich is to get around rich people, copy what they do, and then individualize it so you sort of stand out. It's really the best way to get rich. Don't reinvent the wheel. Imagine trying to, imagine you were challenged to have a boxing fight and you didn't get a coach. You were just going to train yourself and you just rabbit punched a bag. Like you don't know technique, you don't know speed, skill, and you want to stand on the shoulders of giants and leverage the traits of the greats. So copy, modify, individualize. I would say that's the model for being successful. And after all, we do it. I mean, you wouldn't walk if it wasn't for you learning to walk from your mum and dad. Otherwise, you'd probably imagine if no one learned to walk and everyone had to try and walk themselves. I think we'd all be crawling, because crawling is a lot easier than walking. I don't think you'd figure out how to walk. I think you just crawl. And most people are living their life crawling. They're living their financial life crawling. So the link is money.school. Get in there if you want to make, manage, and multiply money, build multiple streams of recurring income. Get your tax bill down. We've got tax experts now in there. For the first time ever, I brought in some of my tax experts and accountants, and they're in there. And you can use them. Some of them I use myself. There must be, there's hundreds of hours, courses, resources, masterclasses, and series on starting a business, scaling a business, building multiple income streams, learning how to invest. But really, because number 1 of 5 of my cash flow tips for 2026 is launching your own membership site, get in there, copy how much content I do, copy kind of the formats, copy the frequency, copy the length. You don't have to have a fancy studio like this. You can just do the content on your phone. You can do it natively in Kajabi and upload it through Kajabi, which is what I use. You're able to take payments and they manage the recurring billing. So it's all very automated now. So keep it simple. Copy me at money.school. Cheers. And I'm going to move on to the second of my 5 business and cash flow predictions for 2026. Now, actually, before I do that, school's got quite big, school with a K. And, I understand there's quite a lot of gamification in there. There's competitions and leaderboards for the people who run, their membership sites within school. So shout out to that. I don't personally use it. I use Kajabi. The reason I use Kajabi is it's one of the longest standing. It's been going for certainly pretty much since I've been an entrepreneur, 20 years. I think Kajabi's been going. So that's why I use it. But membership sites are still, I still don't think there are that many of them. And you might think, but Rob, the problem is my niche isn't fit for it. Well, why not? Actually, inside money.school, there's a masterclass series on how to launch your own membership site. So how to turn your passion into your profession, your niches into riches, how to figure out what the right niche is for you to launch, what formats. So maybe it's content, maybe it's community, maybe it's some mentoring and coaching. You can have different levels. So I have Money School Gold. I'll probably launch Money School Platinum in 2026 or beyond. So it's probably one of the easiest business models out there. Now, I don't recommend business models because they're easy. I recommend business models because they're right. But people are always asking me, Rob, what's the quickest, easiest way to make money? Well, a restaurant or a pub or a shop is probably the hardest and slowest. So, I don't really like get rich quick. I like get rich long. I like get rich big. And I don't really care how long it takes. I want it to be real. I want it to be unbreakable. But, if you did have a gun to my head and you said, Rob, you've got to pick the quickest one, I probably would pick membership site. I probably would. I'm looking at my list here on my screen. I might pick number 3 or 4. But here's the thing, right? Imagine, give me a yes in the comments if you've ever thought about writing a book. Would you write a book? Are you thinking about writing a book? Do you like the idea of being a published author? I don't know. Well, I think I'm on book number 20, and they take forever. So probably my best-selling and most impactful book was Money. And that was my longest book. The original manuscript was 250,000 words, 700 pages, 3 years at least. I mean, 10 years really, but 3 years of hardcore writing that book. Now, here's the thing. When I started writing the book and I'd finished the first page, couldn't earn from it. I didn't get advances back then. No, I didn't get an advance for that book. I have had advances for other books, but unless you're a famous celebrity, which maybe I am now, maybe I'd get an advance now. But assuming a normal person, you're not getting an advance. So let's say it takes you a year to write that book. At the end of the year, you've earned no money and you've put hundreds of hours of your time in. And then to get it published might take another year or 2 years. It might take 2 or 3 years to publish it to make your first pound. Whereas with the membership site, you can create module 1, and then you can launch your membership site and sell in 10 members at £10 a month. That's £100 a month. And then you're like, wow, I've got 10 members and making 100 a month. I better do module 2. Then you do module 2 the next day. Then you sell in another 10 members. And now you're at £200 a month. And you're like, shit, I better do module 3. And then the next day you do module 3. And then you sell in another 10 members. And so you create a piece of content and then you get instant money. So it's like being able to write a book, write the first page, then start selling it. Write the second page, get more buyers. Write the third page, get more buyers. Write the fourth page, get more buyers. Write the fifth page, get more buyers. You can literally get more and more buyers every page that you write. And you start to earn money from it immediately. Whereas with a book, you don't even earn money from your book when the book's finished, because then it's got to be published and then you've got to market it. Okay, cool. So let's move on to number 2. And I'm pretty sure you all knew. Actually, let me ask you in the comments, what industry would you all predict is going to be big in 2026? I reckon some of you are going to get what I'm about to say here. What industry would you predict would be big in 2026? Because let's be honest, I'm pretty sure you all expected that somewhere in my top 5 would be AI. Now, I'm a bit torn on AI because there's going to be trillions pumped into AI. Someone has said real estate. I might have something for you at the end on real estate. Trillions is going to be pumped into AI. It might be a net zero industry, i.e. probably 90% plus of people in AI are going to lose everything or never make any money. Actually, a lot of industries that have billions pumped into it are. All right, we might remember the top 5 or 6 social media platforms, but what about the hundreds that came and went? Anyone remember Clubhouse? Anyone remember MySpace? Gone, dead. And there would have been thousands like them. So here's the thing with AI, though. As all these trillions and all these big tech companies that are having hundreds of billions pumped into them and they're not even making any money, and their goal isn't even to make any money, and there's like a race to the top, we all get the benefit because ChatGPT just got better and better and better, and Grok now is getting better and better and better, and Claude and Gemini, and there's all these amazing AI apps and software and tools, and it's becoming more and more in our everyday lives that as a human we're going to benefit a lot more, even if the industry makes net zero and even if there is a massive AI bubble. So many of the big investors in the world are saying that AI could be one of the biggest bubbles ever. It might be, but you'll end up benefiting if you cash in by using AI in your everyday life. So my business partner went to Silicon Valley, and he did like a kind of like a degree there in AI. And one of the tips they said was just use AI an hour a day. Use it, practice it. Figure out all the tools. Gamma is great for creating presentations from notes. And of course, I like Grok for news research. You might like ChatGPT for sort of general questions, and it might be good for coding or building apps. And with a little bit of research for not a lot of money, you can get very good at AI. And the thing is, because it's so new, I think there's a saying, in the land of the blind, the man with one eye wins. And so no one really knows what they're doing with AI. And you might think you're behind the curve, but it's so new. And by the way, it's changing so fast. And by the time you've figured out some app or software, there's a new version of it, or something has disrupted it, or it's being done a different way. So here's, I think, the business opportunity for 2026 with AI is becoming an AI agency. That's the opportunity. Whether it's just helping people get better at AI, I bet you any solopreneur would pay you £100 a month or a few £100 a month if you were pretty quick and good at AI and you can help them get quick or good. Because one, you'd be a business expense to them, so there'd be a tax break on that. And two, I'm sure anyone knows that just with a bit of help, you're going to save or make a few £100 or dollars or more just using AI tools. So you could be an AI agency where you could coach and mentor people on how to use AI well and the latest tools and features, and essentially just share what you do. And you could get hundreds of members online that might pay you tens or hundreds of pounds or dollars a month. And remember, most people do not know how to use AI. They're really overwhelmed by it. And it's quite technical, even though it's not. And it takes practice, even though it's not that difficult. And some people might say, oh, well, Rob, come on. I mean, that's emperor's new clothes or new robes, as they say. Surely no one's going to pay you to help them do AI when you can do AI for free. But, you know, there's content all over the internet on podcasts and YouTubes, yet people still pay me 30 grand a year to be on my mastermind. They pay me 55 grand a year to be in my Empire program and get one-to-one mentoring with me. Why? Because information is a commodity. There's just like how much information is out on the internet? So much so that it's completely overwhelming. But implementation is a scarce resource. And genuine people with genuine experience who know how to implement information and sift through all the massive information. This is a scarce resource. So my second business and cash flow prediction for 2026 is, of course, AI is going to blow up. And you being an AI agency offering products and services and mentoring with AI, the beta testing the latest tools and then the things that work, sharing them out with your community. Anyone can start this. You can start this today. You could even set it up as a membership site on Kajabi. You could have a £30 a month level, £100 a month level. The £100 a month level, they might get group Zooms with you once a month. Honestly, it's not the hardest business model in the world to do. Now, data hosting, security, this is all going to be huge. You know, a big part of the race to the top in AI is, you know, the data, the hosting, forgive my ignorance, you know, the servers, the space that's required, the hardware that's required. But yeah, saving people from scams, teaching people how to be safe and secure. I think there's a massive opportunity for you to be a niche AI agency or even a broader one-stop shop AI agency. I think it's huge. And even if you haven't got much or any experience, you can start that today. Okay, the third thing, my business and cash flow predictions for 2026, number 3, is to be a consultant or a mentor of information. So right now in the world, do you think overall the world, especially the West, is good or not good? Yes, Mark, this is live. Mark asked if this is live. This is live. How's everyone feeling in the world generally? How's the vibration and the frequency at the moment in the West? I mean, like overall, I think people are struggling with the cost of living crisis. They're struggling with taxes. They're struggling with their own safety and security. They're struggling where everything just feels a bit depressed, where it feels much harder to start and scale a business now, especially in places like the UK. It's overwhelming. Where do you start? Which social media platform do you use? Which creators do you follow? What information is legit? You know, some information now is just created by AI. So I think a lot of people are lost, overwhelmed, confused, scared. And I think great mentorship or guidance or support or consultancy, help guiding people. I think it's always been a huge business model. We've always paid people to teach us how to do what they can and we can't. And some people say to me, yeah, but Rob, everything's online for free now. Well, why isn't everyone rich for free now then? If it was all about information only, then everyone will be rich because everyone can just use ChatGPT or go on a podcast or go on YouTube. So clearly it isn't information. And actually you get information junkies. They gobble up everything on YouTube and podcasts, and they're somewhat intellectual and their brain is full of information and there's no action. There's no overcoming their fears, and they're worried about failure, and they're scared to put themselves out there. They're worried about being criticized, making mistakes. But a great mentor, imagine there's a minefield and there's someone who knows where the mines are. You're going to get behind that guy and you're going to follow that guy. And business and life is like that. When you start anything, you don't know where all the mines are. And right now in the West, there are mines everywhere. Labor is a big fuck off mine. I mean, that will blow you up. London and the mayor of London and the soaring crime and the soaring taxes and the soaring cost of living crisis and the soaring cost of energy and the business rates and VAT and corporation tax and national insurance. And, there are some fake gurus out there because some people think that, launching an information business and just teaching people how to make money is really easy, rather than digging for gold, they're selling the shovels. Well, I recommend that you dig for gold, you own the mine, and you sell the shovels. But I think it's pretty easy now to spot, the real from the fake. This is my 20th year I've been an entrepreneur. I've got 1, 2, 3 fairly big office buildings here, tens of thousands of square feet, over 100 staff. I think if you look online, you can do your own research. But don't let other people who are further ahead than you put you off starting. Start now, get perfect later. So there aren't too many gurus. Someone said too many gurus. The only reason you see too many gurus is because you, in your niche, only see your niche and you think everyone's doing it. Walk down your high street and ask them if they're a mentor in your niche, if they're a guru. I mean, apparently on LinkedIn, it's something like 1% of users on LinkedIn create content, and everyone else is a consumer of content. I think it's a 99-to-1 ratio. Basically, no one's a creator, but you think everyone is. And you think everyone's doing your niche because you're in your niche, because you have cognitive bias, and because the algorithms feed you more of your niche. But so many people need your help. So many people are lost. Oh, and by the way, how many customers do you have to make 10 grand a month? Not that many. I mean, at £30 a month on a membership site, 100 is 3 grand, 300 is 9 grand, 350 members in a world of 8 billion people, of which 3 billion are on social media, or 4 billion. You need a tiny, tiny slice. So what I would do is figure out what you're passionate about, what you've got experience in, what you'd love to learn, what people tell you you're pretty good at, where you got some skills, and go and launch an information business and become a mentor. And by the way, mentor your first 10 clients for free. Get them some results, ask them for their results as a case study, and then bang, you're away. You've got social proof. And it's quicker than ever to do that right now. By the way, you don't need a domain name because you don't need a website, because you can set up a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a TikTok page, YouTube channel, Snapchat, Instagram. Thank you for the donation, by the way. People are donating to me on, do you know what, Kelsey, I'm going to pledge. Anyone who donates to me on YouTube or any channel, I'm going to donate it to the Rob Moore Foundation to help young and underprivileged people, especially entrepreneurial young and underprivileged people, start meaningful businesses that change the world. So anyone who donates, thank you for that donation. I can't see the name of the person. Maria, you're awesome. So that all donations will go to my foundation, because I'm in a fortunate position where the £10 won't change my life, but it might change someone else's in the developing world. Okay, great. So let's move to number 4 then. Number 4 business prediction for 2025 is social media monetization, content on social media. So being a mentor, selling information or masterminds or mentoring or being a consultant, that could be on any platform, but you're taking people off the platform to then be privately consulted or mentored by you. You might choose to do that on Zoom. You might choose to do that in person. But number 4 prediction of content, I predict that YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and LinkedIn and maybe Snapchat and definitely X, Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company. I predict that they will all be competing with each other to have you on the platform for as long as possible. And let me ask you this question. What will keep you on a social media platform for as long as possible? Okay, maybe if you're entertained, but I imagine if you earned money on it, that might keep you on for as long as possible. I don't know. So over the years, I've been a creator. I have mostly monetized social media to the tune of a few million a year. By the way, I'm a part-time creator. I think if I did it full-time, could be dangerous. But, you know, I think I now have 8 companies. I've had 12. I'm running multiple businesses. It's not the only thing I do. But only up until maybe the last 5 years was I even interested in directly monetizing social media. I was only really interested in indirectly monetizing social media because for me, it's much better money to use social media to drive people towards your products and services. Because, you know, your products and services might be hundreds or even thousands of pounds. So why are you interested in, you know, people donating £10 or dollars here or there? Or, you know, making a few dollars a post? You're probably not. So I would fill my seminars and people would join my mentoring and my mastermind programs for social media. And we would save my company a good 5 million probably in ads with my personal brand. And we'd make a good few million a year indirectly from either the brand awareness that I created on social media and people trickling down and directly buying my books, joining Money School, and then my mastermind and mentoring and course programs. But then YouTube ad revenue started to get good. At one point, we were earning £15,000 per million views. Facebook started doing stars and they got okay. Now Facebook pay you for every post if you're monetized. So I get paid for stories, image posts, text posts, shorts, and lives. Instagram was quite good for monetization. It seems to have dropped off now. Obviously, TikTok's big on the TikTok shop. And you can go live and people could go donate to you live, like Maria donated to me here. So I predict in 2026 that the direct monetization from content will get sexier because I think, personally, I think Facebook and YouTube are leading the way in direct monetization. I've got a couple of friends who really only do content on Facebook, and it's not a full-time job for them. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not 40, 50 hours a week. It's probably more like 20 hours a week, I would say. And I know one person who makes over £10,000 a month and another one who makes about $21,000 a month, only from posting on Facebook, from Facebook monetization. And my best YouTube month was about £32,000 on my show Disruptors. And that was when I interviewed Andrew Tate the first time. And so I would say YouTube, Facebook are probably pound for pound the best for monetization, i.e. revenue per view or CPM or return on time. So, you know, you can do one YouTube video a week. Facebook posts, you could do 3 or 4 a day, but you can just make them really short. Kelsey, in the comments, could you put Disruptors, my channel, and could you put my Facebook page so people can go and copy how I do it? Bearing in mind, though, with my Disruptors YouTube channel, the channel was down for nearly a month. We got hacked. So the channel's still there, still good, still got 525,000 subscribers as I speak. But we're just going to probably have to build it back up again. But if you go and look at, we only do really one main video a week. We do some clips of the main video, but we're only doing one main video a week. And that's definitely made millions of pounds, just that channel. So we're going to share that in the comments. If you just go subscribe to that right now. By the way, I'm regularly giving away silver coins on my YouTube channels, just because I'm, you know, A, being generous, and B, trying to grow them. So, and also my Facebook page. So my Facebook page is getting about 35 million views a month, and it earns about $5,000 a month on that. It's had up to 55 million views a month. My YouTube and my Facebook are very part-time. In total, I'm probably doing an hour a day max, maybe 45 minutes a day. Now, Facebook might surprise people. My son said to me, "Oh, Dad, Facebook's for old people." Yeah, but the CPM or the revenue on TikTok is really low. It might be for younger people, but it is really low compared to Facebook and then YouTube. So if you're looking at the maximum revenue per view or per download or, you know, per impression, and you're looking for the maximum revenue on your time, I'm going to put YouTube and Facebook as the top 2 for 2026. That's going to be my prediction. And I think that you should I think TikTok's probably a bit of a waste of time. Instagram, probably a bit of a waste of time, unless you're using them to generate traffic away onto your products and services, like I said I do. Or if you're looking for virality and growth, obviously they're good for that. But I've just shared in the comments my YouTube channel, Disruptors, and my Facebook page, Rob Moore Progressive. So maybe just go and subscribe to those 2 right now. Copy what I do. One of my goals for 2026 is to be more of a creator. I'm probably creating content across all the media, maybe 2 hours a day. So I don't know how many channels we have now. We have dozens. I'm actually launching a new one called Cars and Money in 2026. We do a lot of content repurposing. I'm probably doing 2 hours a day. I think at the moment we're probably on about, in total, 120 million views a month. So what is that? 1.5 billion views a year. But I figure if I can put 5 hours a day into it, then I can probably quadruple that, if not more. So if you also want to grow your reach into revenue, content into cash flow, information into income, make sure you're following me on my channels, and just, you know, watch what I do and copy it. And by the way, you know, people will bitch and moan about you copying them. I won't. I mean, look, change it 20% so that, you know, it's sort of unique to you, or just tag me in. But otherwise, I do not mind you copying my content. Also, subscribe to this channel because maybe it just popped up in your feed. And you wouldn't want to miss me doing more of this content. We're doing 2 a week now on More Money, aren't we, Kelsey? Yeah, so we're doing 2 episodes, not 1 a week now on More Money, all about making more money. All right, great. So quick summary of where we're at so far, and then I'll share the last big one. Actually, I've kind of got 2. So we've covered 1, membership sites, huge for you in 2026. Like you can set up a membership site for less than $50 and you could do it in 48 hours and you could be live monetizing in less than 2 days. And if you got 3 new members a day, which anyone can do, if you've got 5 social media followers, you could get 3 new members to your membership site a day. At £30 a month, that's £90 a day. It's £900 every 10 days. It gets pretty big, pretty quick. And it's recurring and semi-passive. Number 2 is an AI agency. AI is going to blow up. People are lost, confused, overwhelmed. They want to know how to use apps. They want to simplify. They want the top 3 best AI tools. They want guidance and support. They want someone to go to troubleshoot. They want help with their data, their privacy, their security. Having an AI agency is just going to be huge in 2026. Number 3, being a mentor or a consultant or teaching people information, content into cash flow, passion into profession, information into income. Whatever you do, teach it. Doing it was hard enough for you. Doing it took long enough for you. Doing it cost enough money for you. Now go teach it. And by the way, what's your marketing channels now? Because when you had a shop, you just had to sit here and wait and hope that the door rang. You know, someone opened the door and the bell dinged and, oh, I've got a customer. You just had to sit and wait and pray. Now you can market on Facebook for free, Instagram for free, YouTube for free, TikTok for free, LinkedIn for free, X for free. I think X is coming up in the world for monetization. I think LinkedIn need to sort themselves out because their algorithm changed, reduced the reach. I predicted LinkedIn would be a big channel last year, and it was, but they've changed the algorithm. There is no direct monetization. I think LinkedIn need to sort their shit out. They're losing ground. TikTok, I just don't see that they've got the buyers on there as much as the more mature platforms. But X, I mean, Elon Musk is serious, and you get paid every post now on X, as well as getting paid every post on Facebook, as long as you're monetized. Okay, great. And then my 4th way to make maximum money in 2026 is monetizing directly social media. I'm going to rank them. I'm going to go YouTube, stroke podcast, because you can get sponsors for YouTube and podcast as well. 3 of my sponsors are 6-figure sponsors. They pay 6 figures a year. So YouTube and video becomes the podcast and audio, and then you can get sponsors for them as well. We're negotiating a 6-figure sponsorship deal to launch Cars and Money. So I'm going to put YouTube, podcast, then I'm going to put Facebook, then I'm going to put X for direct monetization. Now, by the way, on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, you can essentially post the same stuff, just slightly tweaked. So you've got leverage and repurposing there. Okay, and then the 5th and final prediction, mine for 2026, commercial property. So I said I'd add property in, or I might, because my business partner and I just bought a bank in the center of town, which was up for sale for £6 million in 2020. And we just paid £2.25 million for it. And we saved various taxes to the tune of probably, 7 figures in tax we were able to save or offset. Various tax saving benefits that still exist in the UK. I know I've moaned about the UK, but it's still a great place to invest in. It's probably the best place to invest in property in the world, to be honest. And by the way, the prices have corrected in a lot of areas as well. Mayfair, Kensington, Chelsea down 35, 40, 50, even up to 60% in some areas. So we bought a bank for 2.25 million that was up for 6 million 5 years ago. And it's a 11 to 12% yield just on the building at the bottom, the bank. And it has room to develop into 100 units, which will take our portfolio from 380 units to nearly 500 units. The problem equals the opportunity. So overwhelm equals opportunity for mentoring and masterminding and creating great content that people pay for. Overwhelm is the problem, clarity is the opportunity. Empty retail is the problem. It's also the opportunity, because if you know what to buy, where to buy it, you know the prices, you know how to get a tenant in, you're in the city centre, you know what the prices were, you know how to get planning, you know how to develop a good price. It's a huge opportunity. Now, I left it to the end because I realized that some of you it might be a big leap for you, because, you know, it's not a beginner's strategy. You might want to buy some buy-to-lets first, but you could always buy a really small shop with room to just develop an apartment above, probably as long as it's not a restaurant or a takeaway. So actually, you probably could get into it. You can buy commercial property in your SAS pension. So if you own a company, you can put 60 grand a year into your pension, and then you can buy commercial property in your pension. If you want to buy your own office, then you could buy your own office through your pension. So there's amazing opportunity in commercial property right now in the UK, in the town centres, which are dying and empty, and problem equals opportunity. In our town centre, restaurants, takeaways, coffee shops, they are hungry to rent in the town centres. So there is still great opportunity to have really good tenants. Okay, and then one more opportunity, which, you know what, I'm going to give you a bonus one. This is number 6. And this is one that I'm surprised, actually, that I'm even saying it. And you might be too. Actually, I'll give a 2-ounce Tudor Beast silver coin, if anyone can guess it before I say it, in the comments. The new opportunity, by the way, this is not a new opportunity. This is like one of the oldest opportunities. But if anyone can get it in the next 30 seconds, I'll give you a 2-ounce Tudor Beast coin, which has gone up 5 times I used to give away loads of silver coins, still do, but not as many, because they were 1/5 of the price when I was giving them away. And now they've gone up 5 times. It's not gold. A lot of you have said gold. Gold and silver, I think, have got room to grow. You know, a lot of people have been saying that, oh, gold and silver, they're really high now. And usually gold and silver do well when other assets don't. The economy in the UK is definitely going to get worse before it gets better. I think many areas of the UK, the property has not crashed or corrected yet. So that's going to get worse before it gets better. The state of the UK is going to get worse before it gets better. Taxes are going to get higher before they get lower. So I think gold and silver are a good safe bet, and I think they're probably still going to go up in value. This is not financial advice. It's just my financial experience and my opinion. Okay, so actually no one has said it, I don't think, but I'll give you another few seconds. I think a huge opportunity for 2026 is to run live events. And that's because most people are not running live events anymore. The cost of London venues has gone through the roof. It's much harder to get people to come to live events now because of Zoom and YouTube and all the video content on the internet. And after lockdown, I think people became a bit more insular and a bit more nervous, and the cost of travel is so much more expensive. I've been running an events business for 20 years, and I can tell you it's much harder to run events, and it's much harder to get people in the room, but you get much higher quality of people in the room. And I must have like 10 to 20% max of the competition I had 6 years ago. So let's say it's twice as hard to run a live event, but there is 1/5 of the competition. There's still probably double or triple a market for me personally. So, and by the way, give me a yes in the comments if You're going to do business. You want to look in the whites of someone's eyes. You want to shake their hand. You want to like connect with them. If you're going to pay to have a mentor, if you're going to pay decent money, are you actually going to want to meet that person? I think so. If I was like enlisting someone to help me with my business or my life, I want to meet them. I want to get to know them. If I'm going to pay them good chunks of money, like I invest in watches, I always want to meet the person I'm buying the watch from. So I think for many of you, the challenge is you don't want this retail business because costs are so high and it's so penal to run a retail business. But you want that kind of face-to-face kind of customer who's real, who's serious, not just these browsers. You want buyers, not browsers. And so a great way to do this is to go events go to events. So a great way to do this is to go to events to get customers. But a great way to do this is to run an event to get the customers to come to you. So I used to do loads of speaking. I broke the world record for the longest public speech. I've done well over 1,000 speeches. But I stopped doing, I didn't do very many speaking gigs the last few years because I was focusing on my businesses and my social media. But I went back to a business event, the business show in London that I used to speak at every year. And I went back having not spoken at it for 10 years. And it kind of died. And a lot of the stands were empty. And I had, I was on the main stage in the middle, and I just had a massive audience of people, hundreds of people just coming in. And I was like, this is what it was like 15 years ago. And you can see people are looking at you like, person, human, you know, and with this massive proliferation of AI, which is clearly happening and it's only going to get worse, people are going to crave more and more human connection. I think that you're going to get a race to the bottom with low ticket products. There's going to be a competition. It's going to suck the prices down, and cheap stuff's going to get cheaper. And so many businesses are going to get wiped out as AI wipes out makes a lot of services cheaper. But I think you're going to get the opposite at the top end. Patek Philippe seem to keep going up and up and up. The cost of Ferraris keep going up and up and up. Mentoring with me doesn't seem to stop going up and up in terms of the price I'm able to charge. It's now 55 grand. It was 3 grand 18 years ago, 17 years ago. So bespoke, personalized, in person, luxury, high end, not at the bottom, commoditized, I think is a huge opportunity for 2026. And it's kind of like retro, if you think about it. It's kind of like coming back because, you know, on Zoom and live streams, they're great because you can, you know, thousands of people have been on this live stream. It's great. But also you're in your pants. The dog's humping something over there. The kids are screaming and pissing and shitting. The telly's blaring over there. You're getting it in the ear. You can go online at the same time and multitask me. It's just so hard to concentrate and to go as deep as you need to figure out something to get the best at it. So we've launched Progressive Business Network. I ran 800 and something training days this last year in my business, Progressive Property. And I think probably one of the best ways for you to learn is to actually come to a live event as opposed to just sit on Zoom or on YouTube, because you've got the commitment to get there, which makes you more committed because you've had to get the train or the travel. You're engaged because you're there, you're away from your busy life. And maybe you want to set up your own franchise of events or run your own events. I think running events and getting people to come to them is a great way to pre-sell to people and make that transaction more frictionless. It's a great way to build rapport and connection. It's a great way to raise money and build your own network. And this is why I've been running events for nearly 20 years. This is why we're the biggest in the entire industry in the UK for property and business. And this is why I invite you to come to one of my events. And I think the best place to start is the Moneymaker Summit. So the Moneymaker Summit is a special 3-day event. We only run this a few times a year. We only have 2 dates booked, one in London and one just outside, where you get to meet me and at least 6 of my multi-millionaire friends and peers and mentors. And you get to learn the best business strategies and tactics to blow up 2026. But you also get to learn investing in gold and silver. You also get to learn, there's a whole 90-minute section on leveraging AI. I've got a 90-minute section on getting your tax bill down. I've got 12 main tax breaks, which have saved me tens of millions, I think. Certainly right up there. And I'll teach you them all as long as no one films it. How to turn content into cash flow, whether it's podcasting or public speaking. And I bring in the top UK experts. And I've got a special deal for you because it's this time of year. I'm celebrating loads of things. I'm celebrating the time of year. I'm celebrating my 20th anniversary of being with my business partner. And next year will be a 20th anniversary in our business. Now, I'm going to do something I've actually not done before. And I probably shouldn't do this. And I'm probably going to get told off for this, but fuck it, I'm celebrating. And that is, I'm going to give you the highest level VIP ticket for the Money School members only price. So the highest level ticket gets you access to have a private boardroom mastermind with me where I'll buy the lunch. It's in my boardroom upstairs. About 24 of us will go in there. So we can mastermind and brainstorm on the best ways to scale your business. You can get me more one-to-one. And you're going to have a private dinner with me and about 30 of us as well. You have to pay for your food, but I'll pay for everything else. I'm going to pay for the venue for the whole 3 days. I'm going to pay for all the speakers for the whole 3 days. There's a private Q&A, 2 evening champagne reception. I'll pay for that. 2 bonus money mindset sessions each morning. One with me and one with one of my other multimillionaire mentors, because the skill set without the mindset will leave you upset. And I'm one of the top money mentors in the UK. And I'm going to give you this highest level VIP ticket, which I think retails at about 1,100. And even the best deals we've done are in the hundreds. And I'm going to give it to you. Actually, it's essentially free. And this is only for Money School members, but I'm just going to do it here on this live stream. Which means you only have to put a 25 quid plus VAT deposit down. And as long as you come for the 3 days, we'll give you your ticket money back. In fact, you know what? You could donate it to my foundation. And you know what's even better is, because for me, your risk is your time. Like, I know if I can get you there, you're going to love it. But so basically it's a deposit. So basically it's free. But here's what I'll do. If you don't love it, come and see me at the end of day 3 and I will pay for your travel and accommodation as a thank you for coming and giving us a try. That's how confident I am that you'll love it, as long as you haven't come from Australia on a private jet. So the link to join the Moneymaker Summit is money.school/MMS, as in Moneymaker Summit. That's money.school/MMS, money.school. The dates are on that page. People always ask me for the dates. The 2 date choices are on that page. We keep them quite small. One of them in London, we normally have 200-ish people. One of them in Peterborough, we normally have 120-ish people. These ones might have a few more. They sell out very quickly whenever I've run them before. Marcus said he wants to take me up on the offer. So if you try and buy this anywhere else, you will have to pay. And if you want the highest level VIP ticket, you'll have to pay even more. I'm giving you the Money School members only offer. You can see by the link money.school/MMS, which means you just put a holding deposit down and you get that back at the end of the 3 days, or you donate it to my foundation. The reason I asked for the deposit is obviously just to confirm your place, so you're committed. It's basically free. So what have you got? You've got nothing to lose, because actually it is free. Because I'm going to give you the just very tiny deposit back. I just want it as a commitment. So the link is money.school/MMS. If you'd like to start or scale a business, if you'd like to build multiple streams of recurring income, if you'd like to learn from the top millionaires and mentors in starting and scaling a business, if you'd like to learn how to invest in gold and silver, leverage AI, if you'd like to learn how to invest your money wisely and safely for the maximum return, if you'd like to learn the best business models for 2026, like I've briefed here, but in proper masterclass format, where with each one we go in detail at for many hours, and you want to meet multimillionaires and mentors, and you want to network, and you want to come and get business, Moneymaker Summit is the place to be. And you can choose the location, and you can choose the date while there's still some tickets available. And the link, once again, is money.school/MMS, as in Money Maker Summit. By the way, I'm probably going to retire from speaking at these events next year, just because I've done them for about 3 years. I love them, but like I said, I want to blow up my content, and I've got some other secret and exciting projects that I'm probably going to focus my time on. So if you want to meet me personally, I'll sign your book. We'll have a photo together. I'll do a mastermind, boardroom, lunch with you. Actually, I'll get my business partner to do one as well for you. Between us, we've been in business 40 years. We've done probably for 400 million in sales between us in those 40 years. I run the top UK business and property training company, and we're the longest standing. So you're in good, safe hands. Okay, so the dates, the details, the speakers, the place to register. And remember, it's just a holding deposit. And I've never done this outside of my Money School membership. So I'm giving you this one-off special to celebrate the season and also to celebrate our 20 years in business. So money.school/MMS. Go there right now, because I'm about to end this live stream. I'd like to remind you to subscribe to the channel that you're watching this on, because I'm now doing 2 pieces of content a week. And actually, we're going to try and do more of these live streams as well. So you want to be able to get notified before anyone else and make sure you don't miss them. And remember, invest for freedom, choice, and profit. Because if you don't risk anything, and I'm about to tune out, so the link is money.school/MMS. If you don't risk anything, oh, by the way, it's the first 24 only that get the private boardroom mastermind with me. I think we probably only offer about 60 VIP tickets per event. I know we've sold many of the places already because we like to get ready before the end of the year. So go do it now. Don't wait. It's never too late to start. It's always too late to wait. Money.school/MMS, because if you don't risk anything, you risk everything.